So why then do the moral issues outweigh the economic issues? Because they can control the moral issues, they can't control the economic issues. They know that somebody in their community was one of these bad people and is now one of these good people, or could become one, or could slip from the good side to the bad side. So they feel that, especially with their kids, they want their kids to be on the good side instead of the bad side. When they think about economic issues, they've been around for a few generations. They know it doesn't make any difference whether you vote for one political party or the other. It's not going to change. They're stuck. So, you know, they say to themselves when they go to the poll, should we vote for somebody who we might think is going to help us economically? They don't believe that argument. Somebody comes along and says, we'll help you out these moral issues, they believe that argument.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense, actually. I guess another question. Yeah, I guess another question that would be interesting is maybe to talk about what would seem like an inherent conflict between a lot of the monetary issues and religion, at least in terms of the pure belief, and how Americans have, being a rather religious people, but also being a very sort of capitalist society, how they've managed to find a way, at least to rationalize the sort of the conflicts that occur between the ideals of both of those set of beliefs.
Yeah, it's a puzzle. It's a huge issue that has been part of our culture from the beginning, and I suppose during the 20th century got more extreme as the society became more affluent. I looked at this question a few years back in a book called God and Mammon in America, and I've been thinking about it again more recently in some research I've been doing as well. Part of what goes on is simply a matter of bracketing one part of people's values from the other. Back when I was studying this a decade or so ago, one of the things I noticed very strongly in just asking people about their work and their money and so forth is that a lot of people have developed what in that context I called a workplace self, that basically was defined by the stories that get told in the workplace or in college or in job training programs that say, okay, you've got to move up the rungs of the ladder in the corporation or whatever work you're doing. You have to make certain ethical sacrifices in order to do that, cut corners, maybe put in long hours, whatever. And so you are a certain self, as it were, at work, and then you go home and you're a different self with your family, or if you're a religious person on the weekend, then you're a completely different person again, and you simply compartmentalize those parts of your life. That works well, it seems like, if you want to put it that way, for a lot of people. For some people, there is a closer connection, and it's one that we have seen discussed quite a bit in the media lately, called the prosperity gospel. And that's associated with some of these large churches. There's a church in Colorado run by Joel Osteen that's often used as an example, where the argument there is God simply wants you to be rich. And so if you're not, why something's wrong, and you should pray or give money to the church or whatever it takes, and God will free you up and make sure you're rich. This is an idea that's also filtering into a lot of low-income immigrant communities through some churches and through television broadcasting, where the implicit message, at least, is, okay, if you abandon thinking about evil spirits, or if you abandon alcohol or whatever it is that's holding you back and become part of the church, well, you're going to get a new Hummer. And it's, not stated exactly, but that's kind of the expectation that's built into it. Well, so that's popular in certain communities, and it seems to be, from what I read about religious communities, Christian communities in developing countries, is increasingly popular there. There is another way of that people handle this dilemma, though, and that is to try to integrate their higher values, as they think about them, with their economic life. And that's very difficult in a society like ours. It's driven entirely by advertising and consumerism. But what happens for those people is that they often form a kind of protected cultural enclave. Saw this especially with some people who were involved in a Catholic church that focused a lot of attention on social justice.